Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to create a drone show in TyFlow. We will use find target to move particles from one object to another one, allowing drones to change the position and create different figures in the sky. We'll also use the object bind, so to keep everything under control. And let's get started. Alright, let's create a couple of objects. So let's say torus. And for instance, geosphere, like this, and maybe decrease the segments to something like 2 here, and here is fine. So these will be the two objects where I want to born my particles in one of them and then transfer them to another one. So let me create a TyFlow object. I prefer to keep it in the 0, so I will zero out x and y, and z is already 0. And let's open the editor. So here, first we're gonna born some particles, birth operator, and everyone will be born at frame 0. Now we have to specify mesh where these particles should be born. So it's a object position object. Pick the torus, and here we see our particles. Now let's scatter them not randomly by the surface, but per vertex. Here in the location we can change to vertex in order. Now you can see that we have not enough particles to fill up every vertex here. If you want to be precise, you can check how many vertices this object has. So you can click the object properties and see here in the vertices 288. And I can type 288 here exactly, it will be scattered everywhere. Or there is another way, you can scatter as many as you want, let's say 5000, and using the fuse operator, we can specify the radius. If two particles are in the same radius, the one of them will be deleted. That's the way it works. So let's smaller the value. Now we have exactly 288 particles because the rest are removed. Let's keep it like that. Now what I want to use is find target operator. Let's add it, find target. In here we can specify the object where we want to move our particles on. So pick the object. Alright, if I play animation like this now, so the particles are finding the object, but we need to adjust the settings. So let's go here in the object, change to random. So the random location will be picked on the object. In the point, we can choose again random. And as a sample, we're gonna use vertices. Let's see. Now these particles are looking for the vertices on this object. Let's increase the timeline to, let's say, 200 frames. All right, so basically that's the whole core of this idea. But now, to avoid this wobbling effect when the drones are settling, in real life they found their target quite fast and stick to that place in space. So we have to achieve the same effect. Here in the parameters of the find target, we can specify the speed and acceleration. So we can control that wobble effect. So I'll just slower them down with this value. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, now they're slower. And to make them to find their place faster, we can increase acceleration, let's say 50%, and they will stick quicker to the final destination. Okay, that's good. Now, having this, let's see the example when our objects are moving. So I will disable for now my TyFlow and animate these two objects. Let's start with donut, and let's just move it up and maybe rotate. And also this guy. All right, now let's enable our TyFlow and see what's gonna happen. So first of all, I want my drones to leave not exactly from the frame 0, but a bit later. And let me make them more visible. This maybe larger scale. For that, I'm gonna use a time speed node, time speed test, and move my find target to the next event. So when the animation is reaching frame 0, frame 10, sorry, or we can put it 20, let's say, with 0 variation, so exactly 20th frame, I want my particles to start to find the target. So I want my particles start to find the target. Let's add a display operator to see the particles in the viewport. And at frame 20, they start to move. The problem is that they are not sticking to the original first shape, and we can fix that by adding bind object bind, and pick our donut, and now they're sticking. At frame 20, they are leaving. So actually, this is it. Here you have drone show. What I also wanted to mention here is how to colorize the drones, so they can glow one color when they're, let's say, belonging to the donut shape, and as soon as they reach the sphere, they're taking another color. I'm gonna create a V-Ray light material so they can glow. Where is it? Light material. This one will be red. The particles from the frame 0 will be red, and as they reach their target will become green. And we need to combine them into the multi-sub object here. Keep just 2 channels, input. All right, now let's simply apply this material to the TyFlow. So I'm selecting that and apply material. Done. Let's hide our meshes. We don't need to see them anymore. And let's add now a shape operator to give our particles 3D shape. So geosphere, low res, and in the display, let's see them as 3D objects, so geometry. Switching back to standard. Okay. Now let's add also a material ID operator, and instead of static, we can change that to, no, actually, sorry, that should be static, yeah. And so they're starting from material ID 1, and we can verify that by just rendering quickly this view. Not sure why it's not visible, so I'm selecting TyFlow, apply. Oh, it wasn't applied somehow. Now it should be visible. It's still not. What's in the alpha? Right, again, I forgot something. So we need also add a mesh operator to be able to see TyFlow on the render. So adding this and render, done. Okay, now these particles are gonna move to next event, and in that event we should add another color. But that actually is not correct, so let me tell you what's gonna happen. So these particles are leaving event 1, they move to event 2, and they already have the material here. But what we need to do is particles are leaving but keeping the same material, and they get the new material as soon as they reach their final destination. It means that here and in the event 1 and the event 2 we need to have the same material. So I can copy this one, paste instance, and they will keep their material. Also on the display I'm switching to geometry to see that, to verify this. Yeah, that's correct. And then when they reach their point, we create another event there, and these particles will get a new material. Let me paste here as copy and change to value 2. Let's see. And let me unhide the objects. Yeah, I do have material on these objects because I was playing that before. So let me add simple gray material to these shapes like this. Okay. See what's happened. So we added another event, and in that event, when particles are reaching the object, they are not sticking to it because first, object is moving, and second of all, we're not binding them to the object. Let me switch that off. Why they're sticking right now? Because there is nothing happen after they reach their final destination. So they reached it and they still updating every frame. So they're still looking for their final point. But when we have a new event, they once reach their final destination and moved to the event 3, and that event 3 contains nothing, contains no operators, so the particles they don't know what to do now, what to do next, and we need to tell them to bind to the object. So let's bind them, adding bind, object bind. Picking the sphere. So now they know that as soon as they appear in the event 3, they need to stick to that surface. They need to bind to that final point. And what's left is just, excuse me. Yeah, we already have material ID here applied, and we need to put it on 2. So yeah, in the event 3, they change their material to the green color. Oh, again, I forgot to put there this mesh operator, so I can just paste instance and see them. And don't forget that you need to have a mesh operator in every event where you wanna your particles to be rendered. So paste instance here as well, and it's done. All right, I hope you guys find this tutorial useful, and I really want to see how you create drone shows. Yeah, let me know if there are any questions you have, and I'm always happy to talk about this. And see you in the next one.